So in this very lesson, we shall be looking at bearings. And under the bearings, we shall be looking at the bearing of a point from another point. Let me ask you, what is a bearing? Now, when we talk about bearing, it's the measurement of direction using angles. As simple as that, the measurement of direction using angles. Under the types of bearing, we have two main types. We have the compass bearing and then three-figure bearing, which is also known as the three-digit bearing. For the purpose of this very lesson, we shall be looking at the three-figure bearing or the three-digit bearing. Before we start, let's look at some few important things under or which involve the three-digit bearing. Now, in three-digit bearing, angles are measured in a clockwise direction from the geographical north, and the angles are measured in degrees. Also, in three-figure bearing, angles are written in three digits. Let's look at the explanation to these important things under the three-figure bearing. So we are saying that angles are measured in a clockwise direction from the geographical north. It means that we are going to make use of the north-south, east and west. That is what the cardinal points. So we have the cardinal point in the north, the south, the east, and then what? The west. So we have north, south, east, and then west. Now we are saying that they are measured from the geographical north. So it means that we are going to start measuring from the north here. We are going to move in this very direction. The measurement from the north to the east is what? 90. Since we are using the degree as our unit of measurement, it is going to be written as what? 90 degrees. And we said that in three-figure bearing, the angles are written in what? 3 degrees. So we are going to make sure that the angles are in 3 degrees. So we are going to add 0 in front of the 90. The measurement from the north to the south is what? 180. So we have 180 degrees. And then the measurements from the north to the west is what? 270 degrees. And then the measurement from the north back to the north again, we have what? 360. 0 degrees. Good. So this means that each of these quadrants is what? 90 degrees. Each quadrant is what? 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So now that we know this, let's look at how to sketch a simple diagram to represent bearing. The bearing of A from B is 45 degrees. We want to sketch a simple diagram to represent this bearing. So this is a simple bearing. We want to sketch a diagram to represent it. The first thing that we are to do is to draw our cardinal points, north, south, east, and then west. So we know that these are north, and these are south, these are east, and then this what? Are west. So we said that in bearing, we start measuring from the geographical north in a clockwise direction. Now the angle given is 45 degrees, so it is going to fall in this particular quadrant, right? So we start measuring from the north in a clockwise direction like this, and then we draw our line. Now we are saying that the bearing of A, so of A will be here, from is going to be what? B. So the bearing of A from B is what? 45 degrees. So this is how we sketch a simple diagram to represent what? Bearing. Now let's look at one more example. Now the bearing of X from Y is, let's say, 230 degrees. We want to sketch a simple diagram to represent this bearing. So first thing that we have to do is to draw our cardinal points. We have the north, the south, the east, and then the west. And we always start measuring from the north in a clockwise direction. So 230 is going to fall in each of the quadrants. So we start measuring from the north. So from the north to the east, we have 90 degrees. North to the south, we have 180 degrees. And then from the north to the west, we are having 270 degrees. Now 230 will lie between 270 and then what? 180. So it's going to lie in this very quadrant. So we have this simple diagram. So we are saying that the bearing of x from y. So from y will be here, and then we have our x. And then we have the angle, which is of 230 degrees. So this is how we sketch the diagram of a simple bearing. Now let's look at the reverse or back bearing. So we are looking at reverse or back bearing. Reverse or back bearing. So what we are saying is that if the bearing of A from B, the keywords are of, and then from B is what? Angle theta. Then the bearing of B from A is called the back bearing or the reverse bearing. So in general, if the angle given, which is angle theta, is less than 180 degrees, what we do is that we add the angle given to 180 degrees to give us the back bearing or the reverse bearing. Also, if the angle given is greater than 180 degrees, what we do is that we subtract 180 from the angle given to give us the back bearing or the reverse bearing. So this is how we find the back bearing using these two formulas. We can also sketch a diagram to find the back bearing or the reverse bearing. Let's look at that one as well. So we want to use the sketch diagram to find the reverse or the back bearing. So we are saying that if the bearing of A from B is angle theta, so the first thing that we have to do is to draw our cardinal point. And we have our north, and then our south, our east, and then west. And then we are saying that the bearing of A from B is angle theta, right? So we are going to start measuring from the geographical north in a clockwise direction. So let's end here. And then we have that. So the angle here is what? Angle theta. So we are saying of A from B. So from is going to be here, and then the of is going to be where? Here. Now I want to find the bearing of B from A. We want to find what the bearing of B from A, which is what the back bearing. So with that as well, we are going to draw our cardinal points. We have our north, our south, our east, and then our west. So we want to find the bearing of B from A. So we are going to apply the same concept or the same approach. We are going to start measuring from the north in a clockwise direction till we get to this particular line. So we have this. Now we know that the angle from the north to the south is what? 180 degrees. But we don't know the angle from the south to this terminal line. That is what we are going to look for. Now in angles, we learned about angle properties of power line, which says that when you have two or more power lines being intersected by a transversal line, certain angle properties are formed. And one of them is the alternate angle. So we are going to apply the alternate angle concept to find this particular angle. Now with the alternate angle, it takes the shape of Z. So we have the Z shape here. This means that the angle from here, let's say A, is equal to the angle from here. So you can see that A is equal to B. Now with this diagram, when we extend this line and then we extend this line, you can see that we are having about two power lines being intersected by a transversal line. Let's extend this line. We extend this line. So you can see that we have two power lines being intersected by a transversal line, and therefore we can use what? The alternate angle concept to find this particular angle. So from this, we can see that this angle alternate with this angle. So this angle is equal to what? Theta degrees. So to find the whole of this angle, we are going to add the theta to 180 to give us the bearing of B from A, as easy as that. So now that we know this, let's look at examples on how to apply these two methods in finding the reverse or back bearing. So let's look at this example. If the bearing of y from x is 60 degrees, we want to find the bearing of x from y. So you can see that this is what? A reverse or back bearing. And we are saying that if the angle given is less than 180 degrees, we add the angle given to 180 degrees. And you can see that this angle is less than 180 degrees. So we are going to have theta plus what? 180 degrees. And theta is giving us 60 degrees. So we have plus 180. And this gives us 240 degrees. Therefore, the bearing of x from y is what? 240 degrees. As easy as that. We can also use the sketch diagram to find the bearing of x from y. So using the sketch diagram, we are first going to draw our cardinal points. So we are saying that the bearing of y from x is 60 degrees. So 60 degrees is going to fall here. So we start measuring from the north, we have this. And the angle given is what? 60 degrees. So we have this as well. And then we have y from x. So we have from x and then we have y. So now we want to find the bearing of x from y. The bearing of x from y. So we want to find the bearing of that. So we are going to start measuring from the north. This is the north. So we have from here up to this terminal point. We know that the angle from the north to the south is what? 180 degrees, right? We want the angle from the south to this terminal line, which is, let's call it angle theta degrees. Now using angle properties of parallel line, which is the alternate angle, we can see that this angle alternate with this particular angle. So this angle is going to be what? 60 degrees. So we have 180 plus 60 degrees. That gives us what? 240 degrees. So this is how we can use the sketch diagram to find the reverse or the back bearing.